Someone said, it seems like Infamous has been playing back more this year and last. Seems like in the past the team was more aggressive with its moves. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I was just waiting to get
From
Greg so
Morgan.
he could attack faster on the other side. All right. I've been waiting. Drew's like, I'm watching you, idiot. That's not fair. No.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't speak for last year, but I feel like Infamous has always been a punch people in the teeth kind of team. Like, even if it was only one guy flying at you at a time, like the team's always been coming. I mean, I guess if you see Callie and Cody at the same time, you might be a little slower, but that's about it.
Calculated. Okay?
Calculated.
Hey, I honestly, it's up until the last few years, there hasn't been a lot of fields where you can just while out and punch, and a lot more teams are sitting back. And I think Travis mentioned this earlier. On a lot of these fields, if you go down a couple points because you're getting crazy, you can't come back. It's impossible, right? Because teams are willing just to sit and shoot a bazillion paintballs on a bounce shot, and it's ridiculous. So if Infamous doesn't look as aggressive in your mind, it's not because we're not ready to go punch people. I will run to their start station every time if I get the chance. I'm ready. I got the cardio. Let's go. I'm not worried about it. Problem is there's just not the opportunities. They're not all there, and we don't have to. We have enough skilled players. We don't have to just And I won't mention any teams. I don't want to dime anybody out, but we don't have to send 3 guys to every 50 and hope 2 of them make it so we can win the point every game. Like I trust in the dudes. We can go. I'm being real, right? Let's we can go win heads up each time. We have a deep enough roster and players. So if we don't look as aggressive as some teams, I will guarantee those teams that look more aggressive are the teams that have to be, because that's their only chance of winning, right? Yeah. They're throwing Hail Marys going, please, Lord, let a couple people make it and shoot some fools inside, right?
Well, I mean, and I feel like the only time you see a quick point now is when something goes terribly wrong for the other team. Like I always say, from first gear to sixth gear, there was one guy shooting that way. He happened to, something went wrong. He got clipped off the break, and you see one guy sprint end to end. Other than that, like there's not a lot of really quick points anymore.
Yeah, so like it goes to, I think it goes back to, if you watch our practices against these other super top level teams, X Factor, AC Dallas, there are really fast points where we're just running down the field because you did, shoot a guy or two on the break and you blow down that side, or you're figuring out where to cross it up and where not to cross it up, or when to cross it up. And we already worked out all those crazy factors by the time we get to the tournament, where people are seeing those kind of polished, refined game plans, and you don't get that from the spectator side having the layouts released ahead of time. But if you had a blind layout and you showed up to the tournament and played a blind layout, there would be many points where guys are just on the gas only because
totally
you figure
agree.
out a seam, or you figure out some wild up the middle play and people weren't expecting it. But by the time we get to the tournament, that guy had already ran through the middle twice or a couple times and made you remember it, and you keep your eye on that. You know what I mean? Or the guy ends up in your snake on the break and you remember that. So you keep an eye out for it or whatever. But as far as our team goes, I think we're always ready to pull out those quick game plans. But you can't give anybody a point here or there just throwing caution to the wind. But last season we did. I think we still had plenty of aggressive players. I think we were just trying to figure out kind of our own style, or not our own style, but figure out our own game plan. I wasn't at a lot of the events, so that's a little different too. And this year we have more aggressive players. I mean, not more aggressive, but we still have aggressive players. We have Greg back on the Dorito side, which we also didn't have Nate, which Nate was that kind of spark plug that could blow up in a game plan anywhere he is on the field. Who else? We have Mike Waring, which we saw him do a few plays during the event that he also did at practice, where all of a sudden he's just flying down the field and you're like, okay, yeah, that was there. You know what I mean? So I think we're always going to be more aggressive than we are kind of like that sit back and shoot your gun type of team. But I think it just goes to the level of the competition that we have to play at. We can't just start running around crazy.